Welcome to our channel. We are so glad you found your way here. Let us help you fall asleep. Let's begin with Incestum, the Roman prodigies that signaled a rupture in the Pax Deorum. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Let the noise of today fall away as we step back, not just hours or years, but centuries, into the vast theater of crime and punishment in ancient Rome. If you genuinely like our videos, please hit like and subscribe. Incestum refers to acts deemed impious or sacrilegious within the Roman religious framework, an affront to the established order of the gods. This term encapsulates instances of moral and spiritual transgressions that, according to Roman belief, could disrupt the delicate balance maintained by divine favor. It was not merely a violation of social norms. Rather, it represented a profound rupture in the relationship between the divine and mortal realms. Historical context reveals that these acts often coincided with significant societal upheavals during periods of political instability or civil strife. Accusations of incestum proliferated, reflecting a society grappling with its own moral compass. The Romans placed immense weight on their religious rituals and the observance of sacred laws, viewing them as essential to maintaining the Pax Deorum, or the peace of the gods. When these laws were breached, it was believed that the consequences would manifest in the form of divine retribution, often perceived as natural disasters, military failures, or societal decay. This phenomenon underscores the intricate interplay between religious practices and governance in ancient Rome. The state's reliance on religious legitimacy created an environment where even the slightest deviation from accepted norms could precipitate widespread panic and disorder. In this light, understanding Incestum requires exploring both its theological implications and its role as a harbinger of change within Roman society. The Pax Deorum represented a crucial philosophical and spiritual agreement between the Roman state and its pantheon of deities. This harmony provided the foundation for civic stability, prosperity, and collective identity. Ritual observance and the maintenance of these sacred relationships were paramount. Failure to uphold the obligations often resulted in perceived divine displeasure. Such discontent manifested through various signs which, when interpreted, indicated a potential rupture in this fragile balance. Societal events were often viewed through the lens of divine favor or disfavor. Natural disasters, famine, and unexplainable calamities were interpreted as omens, signaling a disturbance in the divine order. Citizens closely monitored these occurrences, which reinforced their dependence on religious practices to ensure continued blessings. The intricate connection between the state and religion solidified the belief that maintaining the Pax Deorum was essential for the Republic's longevity. As dissenting voices began to challenge traditional beliefs and practices, the fabric of this relationship began to fray. Elements of the populace started to question the efficacy of rituals, believing that mere observance was insufficient to ensure protection. This shift in perception hinted at a growing rift, one that would, understanding the concept of divine favor in ancient Rome requires examining its intricate relationship with social and political dynamics. Favor was often perceived as a blessing bestowed upon individuals or the state, affirming their actions and decisions. In this environment, the gods were seen as arbiters of success, directly influencing everything from military conquests to agricultural prosperity. Rituals and sacrifices were common, serving as a means to solicit this favor, reinforcing a cycle of devotion and reward. The interconnectedness of human effort and divine will created a framework within which public and private life flourished. Temples filled the landscape, serving as physical manifestations of this bond. Communities gathered to engage in ceremonies, recognizing the deity's significance in daily existence. Status and power were, at times, measured by one's ability to invoke divine favor, leading to a competitive atmosphere among elites. Periods of unrest or misfortune were often interpreted as signs of divine displeasure. This belief system compelled leaders to reassess their actions and align themselves more closely with religious observances. The public's trust in the established order relied heavily on the perceived stability of this divine relationship. With shifting sentiments towards the sacred, the foundations of this favor began to show signs of strain, hinting at deeper societal transformations on the horizon. The intertwining of religion and politics in ancient Rome served as a cornerstone for societal governance. Civic life revolved around the veneration of deities, with the state and its rituals reinforcing the legitimacy of political leaders. These ceremonies, performed in grand temples, were not just spiritual observances, but pivotal events that solidified power structures. The priesthood, often composed of elite citizens, wielded significant influence, shaping public perception and loyalty through divine endorsement. Changes in the religious landscape began to disrupt this delicate balance. New cults and philosophies emerged, challenging traditional practices and the established hierarchy. These movements attracted followers who questioned the efficacy of ancient rites and the authority of the priesthood. Such shifts prompted political leaders to either adapt or cling to established customs, creating a rift that threatened stability. The emergence of figures who fused religious authority with political ambition further complicated this dynamic. Leaders exploited the sacred to consolidate power, claiming divine favor to justify their rule. This manipulation reflected a broader societal struggle, where the once clear boundaries between the sacred and the secular began to blur. As citizens grew disillusioned with the established order, the state's reliance on religious legitimacy became increasingly tenuous, foreshadowing the eventual transformation of the Roman political landscape. Prodigies held a profound significance within Roman culture, embodying the beliefs and fears of a society deeply intertwined with the divine. These omens, often interpreted as messages from the gods, served as warnings or signals of impending change. It was not uncommon for unusual events, such as strange weather patterns or the birth of anomalous animals, to provoke public concern and prompt the invocation of religious rituals aimed at appeasing deities. Such occurrences were meticulously documented by augurs and priests, reflecting the intricate relationship between the spiritual and political realms. The interpretation of prodigies transcended mere superstition, influencing decisions at the highest levels of governance. Political leaders often sought counsel from religious authorities to decipher these signs, believing that the state's welfare hinged on maintaining favor with the divine. These interpretations, however, were subjective, subject to the biases of those in power. The manipulation of prodigies for political gain became evident as leaders utilized these omens to justify military actions or reforms, thus intertwining the fate of the empire with celestial occurrences. As the Republic faced internal strife, the frequency of prodigies increased, mirroring the growing unease among citizens. Each prodigy resonated deeply, signaling not just divine displeasure but also the fragility of the social order. This intertwining of the supernatural with the political landscape laid a foundation for the eventual upheaval that would reshape Rome's destiny. Historical examples abound, illustrating the profound impact of prodigies on Roman society. Signs emerged in various forms, often linked to celestial events. Eclipses, comets, and unusual star alignments captured the attention of citizens and officials alike. Such phenomena prompted interpretations steeped in religious significance, reinforcing the belief that the gods communicated through the cosmos. In the year 234 before the Common Era, the appearance of a comet over Rome initiated a wave of political and social anxiety. It was perceived not merely as an astronomical occurrence, but as a portent signaling upcoming turmoil. Religious leaders interpreted this event as a direct warning, prompting sacrifices and rituals aimed at appeasing the divine. Another instance occurred in the year 123 before the Common Era, when a flock of birds was observed flying in erratic patterns. This disruption in nature led to an immediate call for divination, as the interpretation of avian behavior had long been a method to gauge divine favor or disfavor. The resulting actions taken by the Senate reflected the urgency with which these signs were treated. These occurrences, often categorized as prodigious, served as touchstones for public sentiment and political action. Each event contributed to a growing sense of unease, highlighting the fragile relationship between the Roman state and the perceived will of the gods. Rituals exposed the deep-seated beliefs that governed the Roman response to such prodigies. Each occurrence prompted a swift reaction from the augurs, who interpreted these signs as warnings from the divine. It was common to hold lustrations, elaborate purifications intended to appease the gods and restore balance. These rituals involved the sacrifice of animals, typically sheep or pigs, followed by offerings of grain and wine, all aimed at seeking favor or forgiveness. The Senate often convened to deliberate on these prodigies, underscoring their significance in public life. Decisions regarding military campaigns or civic projects hinged upon the interpretations of these signs. The presence of an ill omen could lead to the postponement of critical events, reflecting a society deeply intertwined with religious observance. This connection illustrated a persistent tension. The need for divine approval and the desire for progress were often at odds. As the populace witnessed these responses, their faith wavered, leading to a cycle of skepticism and desperation. New rituals emerged, blending traditional practices with innovative methods designed to invoke the gods' favor more effectively. Amidst this, various philosophical schools began to challenge the established norms, questioning the efficacy of rituals and the nature of divine communication, contributing to the evolving landscape of Roman thought. The resulting shifts in belief systems would redefine the spiritual fabric of the time. Augurs held a significant position within the Roman religious hierarchy. These priests were tasked with interpreting the signs and omens that were believed to communicate the will of the gods. Through meticulous observation of natural phenomena, such as the flight patterns of birds, the behavior of animals, and even the formation of clouds, these interpreters sought to decipher messages embedded in the very fabric of existence. Their role became increasingly crucial as the societal landscape began to shift. In moments of uncertainty, the community turned to these skilled augurs for guidance. The presence of prodigies, such as unusual weather patterns or unexplained natural occurrences, often prompted urgent consultations. Each prodigy was analyzed for its potential implications on public affairs, military campaigns, and civic morale. The interpretations of augurs could sway entire populations, influencing decisions that altered the course of history. This reliance on interpretation reflected a deeper anxiety that permeated the fabric of society. When the omens turned ominous, the rulers and citizens alike faced profound unease, questioning their piety and the favor of the divine. The ogres, through their readings, became both a source of reassurance and a catalyst for fear. Amidst these evolving dynamics, the interpretation of prodigies stood as a vital link between the earthly realm and the divine, embodying the tension within the shifting landscape of belief. Rifolditik shows Om Dzof represented a profound violation of sacred laws, challenging the very foundations of societal norms and religious practices. This term encapsulated actions deemed impure, often associated with transgressions against moral and divine order. It was in this context that the implications of such offenses extended far beyond individual guilt, rippling through the fabric of Roman society. The repercussions were not merely personal, they resonated through public life, affecting the collective conscience. Priests and priestesses, tasked with maintaining the favor of the gods, faced an increasing burden as they interpreted these violations. The fear of divine retribution loomed large, leading to heightened rituals and sacrifices aimed at restoring harmony. Communities reacted with a mixture of reverence and dread, as the specter of disfavor threatened their stability. The presence of Incestum often incited public discourse, where citizens deliberated the morality and implications of such actions. This scrutiny served to reinforce the social order, as it underscored the expectations placed upon individuals within the intricate web of cultural norms. The concept itself became a focal point for debates on ethics and piety, illustrating how deviations from accepted practices could unravel the sacred trust between mortals and their deities. Such discussions revealed the pervasive anxiety surrounding the maintenance of divine favor in an increasingly complex societal landscape. Historical cases of incestum in Roman history illustrate the consequences of transgressions against sacred norms. The actions of certain emperors, notably Caligula, exemplified this violation. His reported incestuous behavior not only breached moral codes, but also provoked public outrage, culminating in a loss of faith in leadership. This rupture in divine favor was perceived as a direct threat to the stability of the state. Another significant instance occurred during the reign of Nero, whose self-indulgent lifestyle and disregard for traditional values alienated many senators and citizens alike. His marriage to his stepsister, Claudia Octavia, drew criticism and accusations of incestum, further complicating public sentiment towards his rule. The increasingly fervent discussions surrounding these acts reflected a society grappling with the implications of such behavior. The consequences of these transgressions extended beyond individual rulers. The decline of the Julio-Claudian dynasty can be linked to the moral decay represented by these acts. The erosion of respect for rituals and divine law fostered an atmosphere of uncertainty. Events such as the Great Fire of Rome were interpreted as divine retribution, amplifying fears regarding the state's relationship with the gods. These historical examples underscore the delicate balance between human actions and divine approval, shaping the trajectory of Roman governance and its societal fabric. Etruscan influences permeated Roman religious practices, shaping rituals and beliefs in profound ways. Much of what was adopted stemmed from the Etruscans' intricate understanding of the divine, particularly their emphasis on augury and divination. This form of interpreting the will of the gods through signs became a cornerstone of Roman spiritual life, guiding decisions from military campaigns to public policy. Rituals surrounding auspices, examinations of the behavior of birds and other omens were derived from Etruscan customs, integrating spiritual guidance into the fabric of governance. Temples and sacred sites, influenced by Etruscan architecture, emerged throughout the expanding territories, symbolizing the Romans' reverence for the divine and their desire for favor in the face of uncertainty. The incorporation of Etruscan deities into the Roman pantheon further illustrated this syncretism. Figures like Tinia, akin to Jupiter, and Uni, resembling Juno, found their places within Roman worship, reinforcing a sense of continuity between the two cultures. Ritual practices such as the sacrifice of animals and the veneration of ancestral spirits reflected Etruscan traditions that became intrinsic to Roman identity. These adaptations not only enriched religious life, but also served to legitimize the growing power of the Roman state, intertwining governance with a sacred mandate that sought to ensure stability and prosperity. The intertwining of governance and sacred mandate introduced the notion of divine retribution, a pivotal element in Roman beliefs. This idea permeated every facet of public and private life, shaping the moral framework within which citizens operated. A transgression against the gods was perceived as a direct affront, provoking potential consequences that could manifest in various forms, from personal misfortune to widespread calamity. Priests and ogres played crucial roles in interpreting signs and omens, guiding the populace in maintaining divine favor. Rituals performed in temples served as acts of appeasement, intended to avert the wrath of deities. This emphasis on maintaining harmony with the divine order fostered a culture of vigilance, where even the slightest deviation from religious norms could invoke severe repercussions. The belief in divine retribution was not merely abstract. It found expression in the tales of historical events, where divine anger was thought to be the cause of military defeats or natural disasters. Such narratives reinforced the necessity of piety and adherence to religious practices, embedding these concepts into the collective consciousness. When calamities arose, the public often sought to identify the failures that had led to divine discontent. In doing so, they reaffirmed their commitment to the gods, striving to restore balance and protect the fragile stability that characterized Roman society. The emergence of prodigies significantly influenced the political landscape of ancient Rome. Each event, marked by omens or unusual phenomena, cast a shadow over the ruling class, compelling leaders to respond with both reverence and urgency. It served as a reminder of the divine oversight governing earthly affairs. Leaders found themselves in a precarious position, as failure to address these signs could be interpreted as neglecting the will of the gods. The consequences for political stability were profound. In this environment, officials often sought the counsel of augurs, individuals trained in interpreting these signs. Their insights dictated public policy and influenced military strategies. The perception of divine favor became intertwined with political legitimacy. Those in power understood that acknowledging the prodigies could not only appease the populace, but also reinforce their authority. Conversely, dismissing such phenomena risked alienation from the very forces believed to ensure prosperity. The interconnectedness of belief and governance resulted in a culture where public displays of piety became essential. Rituals and sacrifices were meticulously organized, aimed at placating any discontent among the gods. These actions, in turn, reinforced the societal structure, as citizens rallied around leaders who prioritized divine favor. The cycle of prodigy, interpretation, and response became a cornerstone of stability, shaping Rome's identity in the face of uncertainty. Bloodlines held immense religious significance within Roman society, intricately woven into the fabric of civic identity and divine favor. The perception of lineage dictated not only social status, but also the legitimacy of spiritual authority. Families often claimed descent from revered deities or legendary figures, anchoring their prestige within the broader narrative of the state. This connection to the divine was not merely symbolic. It served as a conduit through which the community sought blessings and protection. Ritual practices underscored the importance of these bloodlines. Key ceremonies were frequently reserved for specific families, reinforcing their roles as intermediaries between the gods and the populace. The rituals performed by these elite groups were designed to appease the divine will, ensuring harmony and prosperity within the empire. The slightest deviation from prescribed traditions was met with scrutiny, as deviations were believed to invite divine displeasure. In this environment, the emergence of prodigies, such as unusual births or signs in the heavens, was interpreted as direct messages from the gods, often calling into question the purity of established bloodlines. Such occurrences prompted a re-evaluation of kinship ties and the legitimacy of authority. Through these events, the delicate interplay between heritage, belief, and governance became increasingly evident, driving the continuous evolution of societal norms within this ancient civilization. The Julio-Claudian dynasty exemplifies the complexities surrounding Incestum, particularly through its intertwining of familial ties and political ambition. The ruling elite, driven by the desire to consolidate power, often resorted to intermarriage among close relatives. This practice, while intended to preserve bloodlines, led to an erosion of the moral and ethical foundations that once underpinned Roman society. The consequences of these unions manifested in various ways. The health and mental well-being of offspring became subjects of scrutiny as genetic maladies occasionally surfaced within these closely knit familial structures. The public's perception shifted as citizens grappling with the implications questioned the divine favor believed to be granted to such unions. The populace began to see these leaders not merely as sovereigns but as figures entangled in a web of moral ambiguity. Political machinations further exacerbated this situation. The ambition of figures like Emperor Nero, whose lineage was tainted by familial entanglements, highlighted the precarious balance between personal desire and public duty. This region experienced a notable decline in traditional values, revealing cracks in the once stalwart foundation of Roman governance. The erosion of trust deepened, leading to unrest and dissent, as the sacred bond between the divine and the ruling class appeared increasingly tenuous, marking a significant turning point in the evolution of Roman authority. Patriarchal frameworks, once the cornerstone of Roman society, began to fracture under the weight of shifting values and external pressures. These structures, grounded in the principles of loyalty and duty, faced challenges from emerging ideologies that prioritized individual desires over familial obligations. The traditional roles of fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, became blurred as personal ambition often overshadowed collective responsibility. This region witnessed a growing acceptance of unconventional relationships, further destabilizing established norms. Marriages, once seen as sacred alliances, increasingly transformed into transactions, often lacking emotional or moral commitment. The consequences of these changes rippled through the societal fabric, eroding the foundational units that had long upheld Roman identity. Legislation began to reflect these shifts as the state intervened to regulate familial relations. New laws aimed to address the rising concerns of morality and social structure, but they often fell short. reflecting the disconnect between the populace and the ruling elite. The fading company of traditional values struggled to maintain relevance amid the rise of new philosophies, which encouraged a more fluid understanding of kinship and loyalty. This evolution prompted many to question the legitimacy of inherited authority, leading to profound implications for governance and social cohesion as the very essence of familial solidarity unraveled. Cultural perception of incest in ancient Rome held a complex and multifaceted character, deeply intertwined with social norms, religious beliefs, and political structures. This region witnessed a stark contrast between the sacred and the profane. On one hand, the elite often viewed incest as a potential means to preserve bloodlines, reinforcing their status and power. Marriages within the aristocracy sought to maintain purity, often disregarding societal taboos in favor of political expediency. On the other hand, the general populace regarded such unions with suspicion and disdain. They associated incest with moral decay and divine disfavor. The fabric of societal values was woven with threads of tradition, and deviations from these norms were perceived as threats to communal stability. Religious doctrines emphasized the importance of maintaining the sanctity of familial structures, reinforcing the belief that the gods disapproved of such transgressions. Public sentiment oscillated between reverence for the ruling class's perceived divine right and an underlying fear of the repercussions of these unions. Rumors and scandals surrounding notable figures often painted a picture of moral corruption. The resulting tension between the ruling elite and the populace created a fertile ground for dissent. Each whisper of betrayal echoed through the streets, deepening divisions and exposing the fragility of both familial ties and the broader social fabric. Incestum, a violation of sacred familial bonds, became emblematic of moral decay within this civilization. Its presence reflected a profound disintegration of ethical standards, challenging the very essence of societal norms. These actions were not merely personal transgressions. They reverberated through the institutions that upheld the Pax Deorum, the peace of the gods. The erosion of moral authority allowed for a pervasive cynicism to take root within the populace, as loyalty to divine principles waned. In the shadows of grand temples, whispers of illicit relationships spiraled into public consciousness. The once respected figures who upheld these values now became the subjects of ridicule and contempt. This shift in perception disrupted the established hierarchy, undermining the legitimacy of those in power. The observance of rituals, once a means of securing divine favor, began to lose significance as the populace grappled with the implications of such betrayals. Communities fractured and trust eroded. The sanctity of sacred unions was questioned, inviting a broader reconsideration of traditional values. The consequences of these moral indiscretions extended beyond individual guilt. They signified a collective crisis, signaling the potential downfall of a society that once prided itself on its piety. The very fabric of public life began to unravel, creating a profound sense of uncertainty about the future of the state. Women occupied a complex position within the context of incestuous relationships during this period. They were often viewed as both vessels of familial alliances and symbols of purity, yet their roles were intricately tied to the societal expectations of loyalty and reproduction. In many instances, these relationships served to consolidate power and wealth within elite families, further entrenching the status of women as key players in the political landscape, albeit from the shadows. The implications of these unions extended beyond individual households. They reflected a broader shift in societal norms and cultural attitudes toward kinship and governance. Women, often at the center of these arrangements, were simultaneously revered and scrutinized. Their bodies became battlegrounds for political power, with the offspring of such unions considered both a blessing and a curse depending on the prevailing circumstances. Subtle tensions emerged as these relationships challenged the existing moral codes. The involvement of women in such unions raised questions about agency and autonomy, as their consent was frequently overshadowed by familial obligations. The resulting offspring, marked by these intricate ties, navigated a world where their identities could be defined by the very unions that had placed them at risk. Thus, the role of women in these incestuous relationships was a reflection of the shifting dynamics within Roman society, laying bare the fractures that would eventually contribute to the decline of the Pax Deorum. Literary sources reveal the complexities surrounding Incestum, providing a critical lens through which to examine these relationships. Notable works from ancient historians and poets illustrate the societal ramifications of such unions. The writings of Livy, for instance, detail the political implications of familial ties, indicating how alliances were formed and broken through these intimate connections. This body of literature serves as a testament to the moral dilemmas faced by individuals entangled in such relationships. The poetry of Ovid also sheds light on the emotional turmoil experienced by those involved. His verses capture the tension between desire and societal expectation, reflecting a broader cultural narrative that grapples with the consequences of violating established norms. By analyzing these texts, it becomes evident that incestum was not merely a personal transgression, but a phenomenon embedded within the fabric of Roman identity. References to divine disapproval in these narratives further underscore the tension between human actions and the will of the gods. The consequences faced by those who engaged in such relationships often manifested as a loss of favor, illustrating the precarious balance individuals sought to maintain between personal desires and collective beliefs. These literary explorations reveal the multifaceted nature of incestum, marking it as a significant factor in the evolving landscape of Roman society. The decline of the pagan faith began to manifest as Christianity gained momentum, altering the spiritual landscape of the Roman Empire. Traditional practices and rituals, once integral to maintaining the favor of the gods, faced scrutiny and diminishing support. This shift created an environment where the established order was increasingly questioned as the populace sought new meanings and connections in their lives. The emergence of Christian doctrine emphasized moral teachings and community, appealing to diverse groups across various social strata. It provided a sense of belonging and purpose that contrasted sharply with the waning influence of the traditional pantheon. Followers of this new faith often met in secret, sharing their beliefs in the shadows of a society that viewed their practices as subversive. The fervor with which these gatherings were held signified a profound transformation in spiritual allegiance. As the state began to adopt Christian tenets, the old gods lost their influence, leading to the gradual dismantling of the temples that had stood for centuries. Religious festivals gave way to new celebrations, each reflecting the tenets of this emerging faith. This transition marked a significant rupture in the social fabric of Rome, as communities navigated the tension between the remnants of ancient beliefs and the rising tide of a singular religious identity. The shifting dynamics of power and faith began to reshape the very essence of Roman society. Taboos defined the boundaries of acceptable conduct within this complex civilizations. They served as implicit agreements regulating behavior and maintaining social order. Violations of these taboos, especially concerning family and religious practices, elicited profound repercussions. The concept of incest, for instance, was regarded with deep aversion, transcending mere legal restrictions. It resonated with moral and spiritual implications, perceived as a breach of divine laws that could invite the wrath of the gods. This region, rich with ancient temples and solemn altars, bore witness to the consequences of such transgressions. The Romans believed that illicit relationships could disrupt the harmony of the cosmos, leading to calamity and unrest. Rituals and sacrifices aimed to appease deities often followed instances of taboo violations, reflecting the intertwined nature of morality and spirituality. This belief system positioned the family unit as a sacred entity, a microcosm of the larger societal structure. Communities that upheld these values found stability, while those that strayed faced social ostracism and divine retribution. In contrast, those who challenged these norms often sought to redefine their personal and collective identities. The tension between adherence to tradition and the emergence of new ideologies signaled an evolution within Roman society, forever altering its landscape. The echoes of these changes reverberated through the annals of history, shaping future generations. The influence of Greek thought permeated Roman perspectives, introducing complex ideas that reshaped societal norms regarding incest. Philosophers such as Plato and Aristotle examined the implications of kinship, raising questions about morality, ethics, and the structure of familial relationships. This intellectual discourse found its way into Roman literature and political thought, prompting a re-evaluation of established customs. The emergence of these ideas led to a growing discomfort surrounding traditional practices. Prominent figures in Roman society began to reflect on the potential consequences of incestuous relations, considering both the biological and social ramifications. This scrutiny highlighted a shift toward prioritizing the stability of the family unit over the archaic practices previously upheld. Legal reforms soon followed. By the time of the late Republic, legislation began to address incest more explicitly, reflecting the changing attitudes influenced by Greek philosophical inquiry. These laws aimed to delineate acceptable boundaries within familial relationships, thus fostering a more structured approach to kinship. The dialogues between Roman and Greek thought created a fertile ground for these evolving concepts. In various social circles, discussions flourished regarding the moral implications of incest, pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo. This intellectual exchange extended beyond philosophy and rhetoric, infiltrating the very fabric of political alliances through marriages. In ancient Rome, unions between prominent families served not only as a means of consolidating power, but also as a conduit for religious endorsement. Such marriages often aligned the interests of political leaders with divine favor, reinforcing their authority within the societal structure. The intricacies of these alliances were laden with implications. Rituals performed during matrimonial ceremonies signified a sacred bond that transcended mere political necessity. Invoking the blessings of the deities, this connection to the divine was particularly crucial, as it provided a semblance of legitimacy to the ruling elite, intertwining their governance with the will of the gods. When alliances faltered or marriages produced no legitimate heirs, tensions often escalated. The absence of offspring was perceived as a sign of divine disfavor, prompting public speculation and unrest. The resulting anxiety sometimes manifested in extreme measures, such as the invocation of religious reforms or the re-establishment of traditional practices to appease the gods. The delicate balance between political machinations and the spiritual realm exemplified the precarious nature of Roman power dynamics. Each union represented not just a merging of families, but a complex interplay of faith, authority, and the overarching desire for stability within an ever-evolving empire. The Vestal Virgins held a pivotal role in preserving the religious integrity of this ancient society, charged with the sacred duty of maintaining the eternal flame of Vesta. Their commitment symbolized the stability and continuity of the Roman state. These priestesses, chosen as young girls, served for 30 years, embodying the intersection of purity and power. Their vows of chastity were not merely personal, but a reflection of the broader societal expectations that ensured the favor of the gods. In this context, the Vestal Virgins acted as custodians of rituals, safeguarding the rituals that defined Roman religious life. Their involvement in ceremonies, such as the celebration of the Parilia, reinforced the connection between the divine and the civic. Failure to uphold their vows was viewed as a direct affront to divine authority, leading to severe consequences, including the symbolic act of being buried alive. This severity underscored the critical nature of their role. Within the shifting dynamics of power, these priestesses maintained a unique position, often enjoying privileges that differentiated them from ordinary citizens. Their influence extended into political arenas as their intercessions were sought by leaders seeking divine approval. The fidelity of these women to their vows served as a foundation upon which Rome's religious and social stability rested. The philosophical landscape of ancient Rome responded critically to the phenomenon of incestum, perceiving it as a profound affront to societal norms. Prominent thinkers articulated a sense of moral decay, asserting that such transgressions undermined the very framework of Roman virtue. This region, rich in intellectual discourse, witnessed debates where philosophers like Seneca and Cicero examined the implications of these acts on the gods' favor, positing that divine wrath was a likely consequence of disobedience. The notion of natural law, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, emerged as a counterpoint against the chaos that incestum symbolized. These thinkers emphasized the need for adherence to established customs, arguing that deviation would invite disorder not just in the spiritual realm, but in the state itself. The sanctuary of the Vestal Virgins, with its sacred fire, became a metaphor for purity and stability. Public outcry often accompanied philosophical musings, as citizens questioned the moral compass of their leaders. This climate of unrest fostered a collective yearning for restoration, urging a return to the values that had once fortified the Republic. Such reflections prompted calls for reform, echoing throughout the Senate and into the broader populace. The philosophical dialogues of the time reflected a deep-seated unease, positioning Incestum as a critical juncture in Rome's moral and political continuity. Civil wars significantly altered religious observances, marking a departure from established practices. As factions clashed, the rituals intended to appease the divine lost their consistency. Temples, once vibrant centers of worship, stood silent amidst the turmoil, their altars neglected. The priests, those keepers of tradition, found themselves entangled in the politics of war, often forced to choose sides, which diluted their authority and the sanctity of their rites. Sacrifices that were once performed with reverence became mere tokens, lacking the spiritual resonance that defined them. This deterioration of piety led to a palpable sense of disquiet, as the populace grappled with the implications of divine disfavor. Superstitions flourished in the absence of structured belief, as individuals sought personal connections with the divine amidst the chaos. The interpretation of omens shifted dramatically. Signs from the heavens or the behavior of animals were scrutinized with heightened urgency as desperation prompted a resurgence of ancient practices. Civil unrest extended beyond the material realm, seeping into the spiritual consciousness of Rome. The Pax Deorum, once a cornerstone of societal stability, eroded under the weight of internal conflict. In this atmosphere of uncertainty, the very foundations of faith were questioned, leading to a profound transformation of religious identity that would leave a lasting imprint on the Roman psyche. This transformation unfolded gradually, marked by significant events that punctuated the decline of the Pax Deorum. It began in the late 1st century BCE when a series of unusual phenomena were recorded, including erratic weather patterns and poor harvests. Such occurrences were often interpreted as omens, stirring anxiety among the populace and the ruling class alike. The traditional rituals, once performed with unwavering faith, began to be perceived as ineffective. By the early 1st century CE, civil unrest and political strife exacerbated these sentiments. The assassination of prominent leaders created an environment rife with distrust. This tension was palpable in the temples, where worshippers gathered, their prayers tinged with desperation. The once stalwart belief in divine favor started to wane as the gods appeared indifferent to human suffering. The culmination of these events can be traced to the reign of Emperor Nero in the mid-1st century CE. His controversial actions, including the persecution of Christians and the extravagant displays of luxury, further alienated the citizenry from established religious practices. The final rupture occurred in the late 1st century CE, when the destruction of the Temple of Jerusalem marked a definitive moment in the decline of traditional Roman religious authority. The interplay of these elements led to an irrevocable shift in the spiritual landscape, fostering new beliefs that would eventually reshape the empire's identity. Oracles and prophecies served as pivotal influences in the decision-making processes of Roman leaders. These sacred channels provided insights that were believed to be divinely inspired, guiding the actions of those in power. In this realm, the practice of consulting oracles was not merely a ritual, but an essential component of governance. Decisions regarding war, legislation, and public policy often hinged on the interpretations of cryptic messages delivered by these prophetic figures. Priests, known as haruspices, examined the entrails of sacrificed animals, while augurs interpreted the flight patterns of birds. Such practices aimed to unveil the will of the gods, allowing leaders to align their strategies with divine favor. This reliance on supernatural guidance created a complex dynamic between mortal ambition and celestial expectation. The outcomes of significant events often hinged on these divinatory practices, reflecting a society deeply intertwined with the spiritual realm. The decline of traditional beliefs, however, introduced uncertainty into these prophetic systems. As new ideologies emerged, the credibility of oracles began to wane. The shifting tide of faith altered how decisions were made as leaders navigated an increasingly ambiguous landscape. The influence of these prophetic traditions on the Roman psyche remained, even as the empire grappled with the implications of changing beliefs and practices. Moral exemplars shaped the foundation of Roman society, serving as touchstones for virtue and ethical conduct. They provided a framework through which citizens could navigate the complexities of public and private life. Figures such as Cincinnatus and Scipio Africanius epitomized the ideal Romani, embodying qualities of duty, courage, and selflessness. Their stories circulated widely, reinforcing the belief that personal sacrifice served the greater good. In this region, the reverence for such exemplars was not merely cultural, but deeply intertwined with the political fabric of the state. Leaders often invoked their legacies to legitimize their authority and inspire loyalty among the populace. When faced with crises, both military and political, these historical figures emerged as symbols of resilience, guiding the collective consciousness toward a desired moral compass. The impact of these ideals transcended the elite, permeating the lives of ordinary citizens. Festivals and public celebrations frequently honored these figures, allowing the community to engage with their values. The fading company of these moral narratives continued to echo in the minds of the people, shaping social norms and expectations. As the empire expanded, the need for a unifying ethical framework became increasingly critical, leading to a complex interplay between tradition and the evolving identity of the Roman state. The evolving identity of the Roman state reflected a significant shift in spiritual beliefs, transitioning from traditional polytheism to the emergence of monotheism during late antiquity. This transformation unfolded gradually, influenced by philosophical thought, cultural exchanges, and the rising prominence of Christianity. Religious practices began to see an integration of diverse beliefs as the veneration of multiple deities waned in favor of a singular divine entity. And urban centers, temples once dedicated to the pantheon of gods, stood alongside burgeoning churches. This juxtaposition illustrated a profound ideological shift as citizens navigated their spiritual landscapes. The conversion of Emperor Constantine marked a pivotal moment, establishing Christianity as a favored faith and initiating an era of religious tolerance. The Edict of Milan, proclaimed in 313 CE, allowed for the open practice of Christianity, while diminishing the state's support for pagan traditions. The fading company of ancient rituals, once integral to public life, faced increasing scrutiny as monotheistic beliefs gained traction. The philosophical underpinnings of these new faiths offered an alternative ethical framework. The decline of traditional practices led to an introspection within society as individuals sought meaning in a rapidly changing world. The remnants of polytheistic worship became artifacts, reflecting a complex and profound transition in the spiritual landscape of the Roman Empire. The intricate relationship between spiritual practices and imperial power became increasingly strained. Shifts in devotion led to societal discontent, as traditional rituals fell into neglect. This erosion of established customs signified more than mere religious transformation. It initiated a questioning of authority, with implications that rippled through the fabric of governance. Rulers, once viewed as divinely sanctioned, found their legitimacy increasingly challenged. Political factions began to exploit these shifts. Leveraging the populace's growing disillusionment, discontent fostered a climate ripe for dissent. As new ideologies emerged that undermined the once unquestioned reverence for imperial figures, it became apparent that the decline of traditional worship weakened the ideological foundations of rule. The absence of divine favor was palpable, creating an atmosphere of uncertainty regarding the future. This period marked the rise of alternative belief systems, which began to attract followers disenchanted with the old ways. These movements often presented themselves as more egalitarian, contrasting sharply with the hierarchical structure of the imperial system. The very notion of divine support for the emperor waned in the public consciousness, giving rise to a fragile state of coexistence between the remnants of the old order and the burgeoning new philosophies. On this nexus of change, the Roman Empire faced a profound crisis, one that would reshape its identity and influence for generations. Controversy enveloped the legitimacy of these incestuous alliances, igniting fervent debates among scholars, politicians, and the populace. The intertwining of bloodlines became a focal point of scrutiny, as the implications of such unions were examined through the lens of morality, politics, and tradition. This region, steeped in ancient customs, wrestled with the potential erosion of societal values, leading to a growing unease regarding the sanctity of familial ties. Critics argued that the favor granted by the gods hinged on adherence to established norms, suggesting that these alliances, born of ambition rather than reverence, threatened the very foundation of divine approval. The erosion of the Pax Deorum, the peace of the gods, was perceived as a harbinger of instability. Conversely, proponents of these unions contended that they represented a pragmatic response to the shifting tides of power. They posited that the consolidation of influence through strategic marriages was essential for maintaining control in an era marked by fragmentation. This perspective found traction among those who viewed the sanctity of bloodlines as secondary to the political acumen required to navigate the evolving landscape. Wilman landscape, as debates intensified, the air thickened with tension, reflecting the empire's struggle between reverence for tradition and the necessity of adaptation in a time of profound transformation. The role of public spectacles served as a crucial mechanism for reinforcing social norms within the empire. These events, often grand in scale, transcended mere entertainment. They acted as a vehicle for the dissemination of cultural values and a reaffirmation of the social hierarchy. Gladiatorial contests, theatrical performances, and chariot races filled the arenas, drawing vast crowds and uniting the populace in shared experiences. Such spectacles provided a backdrop against which societal roles were defined and celebrated. Patricians and plebeians alike gathered in these venues, witnessing displays of bravery, skill, and at times, brutality. The themes portrayed often reflected the virtues esteemed by Roman society: valor, loyalty, and sacrifice. It was during these moments that the collective identity of the citizens solidified, as they aligned themselves with the ideals presented on the stage and in the arena. Rituals intertwined with entertainment, ensuring that the values of the empire were instilled in the hearts and minds of its citizens. The implications of these spectacles extended beyond mere amusement, shaping public perception and reinforcing the status quo. They encapsulated the belief in divine favor, intertwining the fate of the empire with its ability to uphold traditional practices. Through this lens, the public spectacles became essential instruments in maintaining societal cohesion amid the winds of change. Military conquests expanded the influence of Rome, introducing newly subjugated peoples and their beliefs into the existing religious framework. This melding of traditions often required the integration of foreign deities, which were adopted to appease diverse populations. Rituals previously confined to specific regions began to intermingle, reflecting the growing complexity of the pantheon. Temples dedicated to these foreign gods emerged, often side by side with traditional Roman shrines, symbolizing a broader acceptance of the multifaceted nature of faith. The expansion of the empire also brought an influx of military heroes, whose triumphs were celebrated through exalted rituals. These ceremonies increasingly took on religious significance, reinforcing the connection between military success and divine favor. The veneration of generals and emperors as semi-divine figures became more pronounced, blurring the lines between politics and spirituality. As military campaigns progressed, so too did the need for divine sanction. Priests and augurs became pivotal in interpreting omens and ensuring that the favor of the gods was sought before battles. Such practices underscored the belief that military endeavors were not merely political acts, but deeply intertwined with religious duty. The shifting landscape of belief in this region mirrored the empire's ambitions, revealing how conquest influenced both the divine and the societal order. Exotic cults emerged as potent forces within Roman religious practices, introducing a diverse range of deities and rituals that captured the attention of the populace. These influences stemmed from various corners of the empire, often providing new perspectives on spirituality. Temples dedicated to foreign gods began to dot the urban landscape, each structure symbolizing a blend of local customs with imported traditions. The allure of these cults lay in their promises of personal salvation, mystery, and transcendence. Initiation rites and secret ceremonies offered participants a sense of belonging that contrasted sharply with the more formalized worship of traditional Roman deities. This shift in religious focus was not merely a passing trend, it reflected deeper societal changes and an evolving understanding of faith and devotion. Dramatic narratives surrounding these foreign deities resonated with the masses, fostering a sense of connection to something greater than the individual. As followers engaged with these new beliefs, they often reinterpreted established practices, resulting in a unique syncretism. The boundaries between the traditional and the foreign blurred, leading to a rich tapestry of spiritual expression. These developments played a crucial role in shaping the religious landscape of the time, paving the way for future transformations within the empire's spiritual framework. The increasing acceptance of diverse beliefs signified a gradual rupture in the previously unyielding Pax Deorum. As the empire adapted to its own complexities, this evolution brought forth significant social and political ramifications. The prodigies, often interpreted as omens, stirred public discourse, prompting various interpretations among the populace. This atmosphere of uncertainty fostered a growing skepticism toward traditional religious institutions. Citizens began to question the reliability of the augurs and priests who had long held the authority to decipher the will of the gods. As the interpretations of these signs proliferated, they often reflected deeper societal anxieties. Local leaders and politicians seized upon the prodigies, using them to bolster their positions or challenge rivals. In some regions, gatherings were organized to debate the meaning of recent omens, creating a new platform for civic engagement. This dialogue not only engaged the masses, but also began to alter the power dynamics within communities. In response, the Senate and other ruling bodies attempted to assert control over the interpretation of prodigies, endeavoring to maintain a semblance of stability. However, competing narratives emerged, leading to further fragmentation within the empire. Various factions began to coalesce around different interpretations, potentially igniting social strife. The decline of the Pax Deorum not only reshaped religious practices, but also initiated a re-evaluation of loyalty and identity among the empire's citizens. As divisions deepened, the interconnectedness of belief, power, and society grew increasingly evident, reshaping the fabric of Roman life. The Senate emerged as a pivotal institution in confronting the phenomenon of Incestum. Composed of elite patricians, it wielded considerable influence over religious and civic matters. Under escalating concerns regarding the sanctity of public rituals, it sought to restore the trust of the populace in the divine will. Resolutions were debated and edicts were established, attempting to re-establish order and reinforce the bonds between the state and the gods. Legislative measures included stricter penalties for those found guilty of sacrilegious acts, aiming to deter further transgressions. The Senate convened special sessions, inviting religious leaders to provide guidance on the proper conduct expected of both citizens and officials. This collaboration illustrated the delicate balance between governance and spirituality, with each side recognizing the potential consequences of failing to appease the divine. Ceremonial practices saw a resurgence, with increased emphasis on purification rituals and public sacrifices intended to mend the rift between the mortal realm and the divine. The Senate's involvement was not merely a reaction. It aimed to reinforce its authority amidst growing unrest. These actions underscored the role of the Senate in shaping religious orthodoxy, reflecting the shifting dynamics of power. With each decree, the institution sought to reclaim its position as a mediator between the human and the sacred, striving for harmony in uncertain times. Ancestral worship served as a cornerstone of Roman culture, intertwined with the very fabric of daily life and societal structure. This practice underscored a profound reverence for lineage and heritage, reinforcing the bonds that connected generations. The veneration of ancestors was not merely a personal affair. It became a collective pursuit, manifesting through rituals and public ceremonies that honored familial spirits. Household shrines, known as lararia, played a pivotal role in these observances. Families would dedicate offerings, such as food or flowers, to their forebears, seeking their guidance and protection. It was believed that these benevolent spirits could influence the fortunes of the living, ensuring prosperity and stability. The connection between the past and present was palpable, providing a sense of continuity in a rapidly changing world. In the context of shifting political landscapes, this reverence for ancestry took on new significance. As the empire expanded and faced internal turmoil, the ancestral traditions offered solace and a framework for understanding one's place within the larger narrative of Roman identity. Commemorative feasts and festivals not only celebrated individual families, but also reinforced societal cohesion. Through these practices, the living acknowledged the sacrifices of their predecessors, cultivating a deep respect for the past that echoed throughout the annals of history. But the intersection of law and religion in ancient Rome established a complex framework, intertwining rituals with the legal structure of society. This system defined the roles of the pontiffs, who were entrusted with maintaining the divine order through various sacral duties. The presence of these religious officials ensured that legal matters were often viewed through a spiritual lens, imparting a shared sense of duty among the populace. Legal codes drew inspiration from religious texts, emphasizing morality and ethical behavior as fundamental to civic responsibility. Such intertwining meant that breaches of law were not merely viewed as societal violations, but also as offenses against the divine will. This connection reinforced a collective consciousness, binding citizens through a shared reverence for both law and deity. Ritualistic ceremonies served as a means to invoke divine favor, reinforcing the legitimacy of laws enacted by the state. The augurs, skilled in interpreting signs from the gods, played a critical role in validating decisions made by lawmakers. These practices ensured that every major political move was steeped in religious significance, creating a society where divine and human governance were inextricably linked. On sword biles and seeking weight ho. Consequences for failing to adhere to both legal and religious expectations were severe, often resulting in public punishment or ostracism, serving as a reminder of the delicate balance that sustained societal order. Cross-cultural comparisons reveal nuanced approaches to incest across various ancient societies, illustrating a spectrum of acceptance and taboo. In ancient Egypt, sibling marriages, particularly among royalty, were often employed to preserve the purity of the bloodline, ensuring that divine favor remained within a select lineage. This strategy reinforced the notion of a godly heritage creating a direct link to the deities worshipped by the populace. Conversely, in ancient Greece, societal norms dictated a clear aversion to incest. Marriages were typically structured to strengthen alliances and broaden familial connections, thereby avoiding internal consolidation of power. Cultural narratives and myths often served as cautionary tales, highlighting the disastrous consequences faced by those who transgressed these boundaries. In Mesopotamia, practices varied significantly among city-states. Royal families occasionally engaged in incestuous unions, justified by the belief that the rulers were semi-divine. Yet, commoners faced strict prohibitions, reflecting a broader societal consensus on the sanctity of familial boundaries. These regional variations underscore the complex interplay between governance, spirituality, and cultural taboos. Each society navigated the intricate dynamics of power and morality, shaping their unique frameworks around intimate relationships. Understanding these differences enhances comprehension of how deeply rooted cultural beliefs influenced social structures and individual behaviors across civilizations. The legacy of prodigies in Roman historical narratives reveals a complex interplay between the divine and the mundane. These signs, often interpreted as warnings or manifestations of divine displeasure, shaped the political and social landscape of Rome. Incidents of prodigious events were meticulously recorded, illustrating a society deeply entwined with belief systems that dictated responses to these occurrences. In this context, the presence of omens influenced decisions made by leaders, guiding military endeavors and domestic policies. Such interpretations were not merely superstitions, but were embedded in the political fabric, reinforcing the authority of the ruling class. With every reported prodigy, a narrative emerged that elevated the importance of divine favor, intertwining it with the legitimacy of leadership. These accounts often served as cautionary tales, depicting the consequences of neglecting the will of the gods. They fostered a culture of vigilance, where the populace remained acutely aware of the potential repercussions of ignoring these signs. The historical records, rich with these narratives, provided a framework for understanding societal norms and expectations, linking the collective psyche to the celestial. This relationship between perceived divine intervention and historical interpretation illustrates how the Romans navigated their world. The influence of prodigies permeated their chronicles, embedding a sense of continuity between the celestial and terrestrial realms, shaping the ethos of the civilization. The psychological impact of incestum, or sacrilege, weighed heavily on Roman citizens, intertwining with their daily lives. This act, viewed as an affront to the divine, generated a pervasive atmosphere of anxiety and uncertainty. Citizens, aware of the delicate balance between human actions and divine favor, experienced a heightened sense of vigilance. The potential consequences of such ruptures reverberated through both individual psyches and the collective consciousness of society. Fear of retribution loomed large, manifesting in various forms. Ritualistic practices aimed at appeasing the gods became increasingly common. The need for assurance led to an expansion of religious observance, with citizens seeking solace in the familiar rites of their ancestors. This longing for divine favor fostered a culture steeped in superstition, where omens and signs were meticulously interpreted. Communal gatherings often centered around discussions of prodigies, reinforcing the belief that the gods were actively engaged in their affairs. The tension between personal faith and societal expectations created a complex emotional landscape. The pressure to conform to religious norms intensified, igniting feelings of guilt and anxiety among those who faltered in their devotion. As this strain permeated social interactions, It fostered a sense of alienation among individuals, separating them from their neighbors and from the overarching ideals of the state. The psychological ramifications of Incestum were profound, reshaping the very fabric of Roman identity. Artistic representations emerged as a reflection of societal anxieties surrounding Incestum. Roman sculptors often depicted themes that conveyed both reverence and revulsion. These works serve to illustrate the complexities of familial relationships and their ramifications on the divine order. In marble and bronze, the expressions captured in the faces of figures ranged from serene to tormented, revealing a deep ambivalence toward the concept of sacred transgressions. Statues frequently showcased mythological narratives, intertwining human emotion with divine consequence. The portrayal of deities, often caught in moments of moral tension, resonated with the populace, reinforcing cultural norms. Iconography became a tool for reflection, inviting citizens to grapple with their values against a backdrop of mythic tales. The medium itself played a crucial role in conveying these themes. Smooth surfaces contrasted with jagged edges, symbolizing the duality of desire and destruction inherent in Incestum. The scale of monumental sculptures echoed the weight of the subject matter. These works were not mere decoration. They served as public reminders of the fragility of piety and the potential for divine wrath. Within this artistic framework, the narrative of Incestum unfolded, encapsulating the tension between human behavior and the expectations of the gods. Each piece contributed to a broader discourse about morality, identity, and the consequences of straying from established norms. The erosion of traditional beliefs marked a significant shift in religious authority during the late Republic. This period witnessed a fracturing of established rituals and the collective reverence once held by the priestly class. Authority became contested as the influence of newly emerging philosophies and personal interpretations of the divine began to take root. Individuals sought spiritual assurance outside the confines of canonical practices, often leading to a dilution of the once sacrosanct boundaries that defined piety. In this evolving landscape, prestigious positions within temples faced scrutiny. The vestiges of established rites struggled against the tide of public skepticism and political maneuvering. As leaders manipulated religious symbols for personal gain, the integrity of spiritual institutions diminished. Priests, previously viewed as mediators between mortals and deities, found their roles increasingly challenged by populist figures. The introduction of foreign deities and cults further complicated this dynamic. These new influences provided alternative avenues for worship, drawing followers away from traditional Roman practices. Rituals once designed to placate the gods now appeared inadequate in meeting the spiritual needs of the populace. The gradual disintegration of the Pax Deorum revealed a societal shift where the divine order that had long governed civic life began to fray, signaling a profound transformation in the Roman spiritual landscape. Censorship played a pivotal role in shaping historical accounts, often obscuring the very events that defined the decline of the Pax Deorum. It served as a tool for those in power to maintain control over the narrative, manipulating perceptions of divinity and morality in accordance with political agendas. This manipulation ensured that dissenting voices were silenced, creating a singular narrative that aligned with the interests of the ruling elite. The repercussions of such censorship extended beyond mere historical records. It affected the public's understanding of divine will, altering the relationship between the populace and their deities. Rituals and beliefs that fell outside the accepted framework found themselves relegated to obscurity, as their significance was diminished or erased entirely. In this region, the echoes of ancient rites faded, supplanted by a dogma that served to reinforce authority rather than encourage spiritual exploration. Historical accounts, therefore, became repositories of selective truth, chronicling victories while glossing over failures. The tension between recorded history and lived experience grew as individuals began to question the legitimacy of their leaders' claims. Fragmented narratives emerged, revealing an undercurrent of skepticism that would eventually contribute to societal unrest. This quiet discontent laid the groundwork for future transformations, as the populace began to seek alternative pathways to understand their own existence and the divine. Prodigies emerged as pivotal omens within Roman culture, frequently interpreted through the lens of public sentiment and collective anxiety. Observations of unusual phenomena, such as meteorological anomalies or bizarre animal behavior, sparked widespread speculation regarding the favor of the gods. These signs, often catalogued meticulously by priests and oracles, became focal points of communal discourse, reflecting deeper concerns about societal stability and divine will. Eclipses, portents of despair, elicited fears about the future, while the birth of unusual creatures was seen as manifestations of impending change. Such interpretations were not merely superstitions. They represented a profound need for reassurance amidst uncertainty. Rituals, sacrifices, and public displays of piety surged as citizens sought to align themselves with the perceived desires of the divine. Fortigenamiting practices flourished, with the interpretation of prodigies often leading to significant political implications. Leaders harnessed these omens to justify their decisions or bolster their authority. Intertwining governance with the spiritual realm, the resulting responses varied, from fervent religious observance to critical skepticism. These contrasting reactions highlighted a society grappling with its identity, navigating the delicate balance between tradition and evolving beliefs. As interpretations of prodigies became increasingly complex, they reflected not only the anxieties of the moment, but also a foreshadowing of the transformations to come. The complexities of economic conditions significantly shaped religious observances, intertwining the practical and the spiritual. During times of prosperity, rituals flourished, drawing larger crowds and encouraging elaborate ceremonies. This region witnessed an unprecedented influx of offerings, with citizens eager to appease deities and secure favorable outcomes. Temples became vibrant centers of activity, adorned with the finest goods. They buzzed with energy, reflecting a society thriving under the benevolent gaze of the gods. Conversely, periods of economic downturn ushered in a somber atmosphere. Scarcity led to a decline in ritual participation, as the populace prioritized survival over devotion. Offerings diminished, and the once bustling temples fell silent. Anxiety permeated the air, prompting individuals to seek new forms of engagement with the divine, often through more personal or informal practices. These shifts marked a subtle yet profound transformation in the relationship between the sacred and the mundane. The tension between wealth and worship created a dynamic interplay, influencing not only the rituals themselves, but also the societal structure. This evolution in religious observances underscored the fragility of human existence and the unyielding quest for divine favor. As the economic landscape shifted, so did perceptions of the divine, prompting reflections on morality, duty, and the very essence of piety within a rapidly changing world. the intricate relationship between political authority and divine favor became increasingly complex. In this region, the concept of incestum emerged, denoting actions that violated sacred laws, often leading to a loss of legitimacy among rulers. Such transgressions, perceived to be against both the gods and societal norms, spurred a crisis of confidence in leadership. This intersection of morality and governance underscored the precarious nature of power. Rulers found themselves navigating an ever-shifting landscape of public expectation and divine scrutiny. The fading company of traditional beliefs prompted a re-evaluation of political legitimacy. Leaders were expected to embody the virtues of piety and moral rectitude. Yet many found themselves ensnared by the very temptations they sought to resist. In a society where divine favor was paramount, the repercussions of incestum were profound. Disgraced leaders faced not only personal downfall, but also the destabilization of their entire regimes. Amidst such turmoil, the populace grappled with their own interpretations of piety. The decline of unwavering faith led to a fracturing of communal identity as individuals began to question the very principles that had once united them. This tension reverberated through the fabric of society, marking a pivotal moment in the evolution of both political and spiritual life. The implications of these shifts would resonate well beyond their time. Family ties formed the backbone of political alliances within ancient Rome. These connections often dictated the flow of power, shaping the rulership and governance of vast territories. The intertwining of lineage created a network of loyalty and obligation, enabling influential families to consolidate their positions through strategic marriages and alliances. It was not merely a matter of affection. These unions served as political tools, securing peace and facilitating cooperation among various factions. In this region, the manipulation of familial relationships allowed for the ascension of certain individuals to positions of power, often bypassing traditional meritocratic principles. The emergence of dynasties reflected a systematic approach to governance, where bloodlines and loyalty eclipsed competence and capability. The implications of this system extended into the very fabric of Roman society, fostering a culture where personal relationships outweighed public duty. The fragility of these alliances became evident as rivalries and betrayals emerged. Familial disputes often escalated into broader conflicts, undermining the stability maintained by the Pax Deorum. Such disruptions highlighted the delicate balance required to maintain order. As allegiances shifted like the sands of time, this period marked a gradual erosion of traditional values. And nordiviti hit sanit to shazno of values. The consequences of incestum on public morality became evident as societal norms began to shift. Traditional values, once upheld with reverence, faced scrutiny and disintegration. The sanctity of familial bonds was compromised, leading to a palpable disquiet among the populace. Moral authority, previously anchored in the teachings of the ancients, began to falter under the weight of scandal and impropriety. This region, once characterized by a shared sense of virtue, now witnessed a fragmentation of community bonds. People found themselves grappling with conflicting beliefs as the influence of transgression seeped into everyday life. Public spaces, where discussions of ethics and honor had thrived, became arenas of debate and division. The erosion of respect for the divine sparked an unsettling atmosphere. Temples, once bustling with devotees seeking favor from the gods, saw a decline in attendance. Rituals meant to sustain the Pax Deorum were performed with diminishing sincerity, leading to an unsettling silence in sacred spaces. The fading company of moral leaders struggled to retain influence over a populace increasingly entangled in moral ambiguity. These fissures within the moral fabric of society echoed through generations, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. The consequences of Incestum extended beyond individual acts, reshaping the very foundation of public morality for centuries to come. The family held a central role in Roman religion, serving as a vital conduit for divine favor. It represented not just the domestic unit, but also the microcosm of the state. Rituals performed within the household, often led by the paterfamilias, established a direct connection to the gods. These acts of piety reinforced social order, binding family members to their ancestors and deities alike. Through worship, the family became a symbol of stability, embodying the virtues of fidelity, loyalty, and respect. In this context, the sanctity of family ties was paramount. The disruption caused by Incestum not only threatened individual households, but also undermined the societal framework that relied on the integrity of familial bonds. This rupture manifested in the collective consciousness, as public perception shifted towards a more skeptical view of the elite. An erosion of trust ensued, as families previously revered began to be associated with moral decay. The societal implications were profound, creating a ripple effect that influenced the political landscape. The erosion of sacred familial ties signified a departure from traditional values, contributing to the decline of the Pax Deorum. This period marked a turning point where the intertwining of family and faith began to unravel, leaving in its wake a legacy of doubt and discontent that would resonate through generations. The decline of the Western Roman Empire can be traced to the societal fractures initiated by Incestum. This disruption rippled through various facets of governance, undermining authority and eroding public trust. Leadership, once anchored in stability and divine favor, became marred by familial entanglements that prioritized personal loyalty over civic duty. The resulting governance often appeared weak and self-serving, prompting widespread disillusionment among the populace. Economic structures began to falter as the elite engaged in practices that prioritized their kin over collective prosperity. Resources were increasingly diverted to support the lavish lifestyles of a select few, leaving vast segments of society impoverished and disenfranchised. This economic decline was compounded by external pressures, with invading forces taking advantage of the internal chaos. The once mighty legions, strained by a lack of resources and morale, struggled to defend their borders. Cultural cohesion deteriorated as well, with the erosion of shared values that had once unified the empire. The spiritual dissonance created by Incestum left many questioning the legitimacy of their leaders and the very foundations of their faith. As the empire fractured into competing factions, the sense of a common identity faded. This precarious state, the role of rhetoric in justifying incestuous relationships within ancient Rome, emerges as a crucial element in understanding societal dynamics. It served as a means not only of rationalization, but also as a reflection of deeper cultural values. Swashes and writings from this period reveal a complex interplay between morality and power. Influential figures wielded language to challenge prevailing norms, positioning these relationships as vital for maintaining bloodlines and political alliances. The philosophical underpinnings of such arguments often drew upon notions of purity, lineage, and divine favor. Rhetoricians articulated the idea that familial bonds could strengthen the state, suggesting that the sanctity of blood transcended conventional ethical boundaries. This rationale found fertile ground in a society deeply invested in the favor of the gods, with many believing that the preservation of elite bloodlines could avert divine displeasure. In public discourse, the use of persuasive language crafted a narrative that isolated dissenters and elevated proponents of incestuous unions. Through eloquent oratory, these advocates constructed a compelling case, one that framed such relationships as essential to the stability of Rome. This manipulation of rhetoric did not merely serve to justify actions, it reshaped the moral landscape, allowing a significant rupture in the Pax Deorum. The transformation of societal attitudes underscored the potency of language in the realm of ethics and governance. The emergence of Incestum provoked a profound response from religious reformers who recognized the potential erosion of moral and ethical foundations. These figures, often steeped in the traditions of ancient rites, sought to reaffirm the sanctity of religious observance. They emphasized the importance of ritual purity, arguing that the very fabric of society relied on adherence to divine mandates. Through speeches and writings, they articulated a vision of restoration, advocating for a return to the practices that had once secured the favor of the gods. An increasing number of devotees began to rally around these reformers. Drawn by a shared sense of disquiet, rituals were meticulously revisited, and the interpretation of sacred texts was scrutinized for clarity and relevance. This period saw an elevation of the priestly class, as these leaders were entrusted with the responsibility of guiding the populace back to a state of divine grace. The reformist agenda emphasized education in piety, aiming to instill a renewed sense of reverence within communities. These efforts encountered resistance from those who viewed reform as an infringement on personal freedoms. Yet, the movement highlighted a significant shift in spiritual consciousness, as many began to perceive the interconnectedness of personal conduct and societal well-being. This dialogue of faith and ethics reflected the complexities of a civilization at the crossroads of tradition and change. The ripples of Incestum permeated the realms of Roman literature and drama, serving as a lens through which societal tensions were explored. This theme emerged prominently in works that sought to grapple with moral decay and the fragility of the divine order. Authors began to weave narratives reflecting the consequences of transgression, using the human condition as a backdrop against which the divine could clash with earthly desires. Prominent playwrights and poets depicted characters ensnared in the web of forbidden relationships, illustrating both the allure and the peril inherent in such choices. They crafted stories where the weight of familial loyalty collided with civic duty, creating a fertile ground for philosophical inquiry. The resulting tragic figures often found themselves isolated, their fates sealed by the very passions that drove them. In these works, the portrayal of Incestum did not merely serve to shock, it provoked contemplation on the boundaries of morality and the repercussions of straying from established norms. The audience, enraptured by the unfolding drama, was compelled to confront uncomfortable truths about their own societal structure. The reflections found within this body of literature resonated deeply, influencing subsequent generations. The exploration of these themes not only enriched Roman artistic expression, but also provided a framework for understanding the broader implications of a society grappling with its values. The modern interpretation of Incestum in historical studies highlights the complexities of Roman morality and societal norms. Scholars have delved into ancient texts, examining the narratives surrounding this taboo, revealing not only individual stories, but also the collective concerns of a civilization in transition. This scrutiny unveils how the concept of incestum transcended mere legal definitions, morphing into a symbol of moral decay and divine displeasure. Assessments of the era suggest that such transgressions were often reflective of deeper anxieties within Roman society. These concerns became particularly pronounced during times of political upheaval, where the stability of the state seemed intertwined with the moral integrity of its leaders. Ritual purity, once regarded as essential for maintaining the favor of the gods, increasingly mirrored the anxieties of a populace uncertain in their beliefs. By examining various historical accounts and archaeological findings, it becomes evident that the notion of incestum served as a form of social commentary. Debates surrounding it often echoed the struggles of the elite, who sought to navigate the shifting moral landscape while appeasing both the public and the divine. This dynamic interplay reveals a society wrestling with its identity, where the ramifications of perceived immorality extended far beyond personal transgressions, influencing political fortunes and collective psyche. The role of archaeological evidence provides critical insights into the complexities surrounding incestum. Excavations in ancient Roman sites uncover artifacts and structures that reflect societal norms and religious practices. These remnants often serve as tangible markers of the intersection between personal behavior and public consequence. In these layers of history, inscriptions reveal both the names of individuals accused of incestum and the severe penalties imposed upon them. This indicates not only legal repercussions, but also the palpable fear of divine retribution that permeated the culture. Sacred sites, such as temples and altars, frequently exhibit signs of ritualistic observance. The arrangement of offerings and dedications presents a clear connection between individual actions and societal expectations, evidence of individuals seeking absolution through public acts of piety illustrates the lengths to which people would go to restore their standing within the community. In this context, the material culture emerges as a silent witness to the societal fractures caused by acts of incestum. It reveals a civilization struggling with the weight of moral judgment while attempting to maintain harmony with the Pax Deorum. The remnants of this past beckon to scholars and historians alike, urging them to unearth the narratives embedded within the ruins, thereby illuminating the broader implications of transgression in ancient Roman life. The echoes of these bygone practices continue to resonate, offering profound understanding of the human condition. Cultural memory of incestum in post-Roman Europe reveals a landscape marked by shifting values and evolving spirituality. This transgressive concept, once entwined with the fabric of Roman religious practice, began to morph under the influence of emerging Christian doctrines. New societal norms emerged, casting a shadow over past transgressions and redefining moral frameworks. The remnants of these ancient rituals remained tucked away in folklore and local customs, subtly informing the collective consciousness. In this evolving milieu, the vestiges of incestum found their way into literary and artistic expressions, often serving as cautionary tales. They highlighted the fragility of divine favor and the repercussions of straying from established piety. This region became a repository for the mixed legacy of Roman traditions, where stories of divine retribution were interwoven with the nascent beliefs of a changing world. Religious institutions, eager to establish their authority, often invoked these memories to emphasize the importance of moral rectitude. In doing so, they transformed ancient practices into allegories for contemporary adherence to virtue. The remnants of these narratives lingered in the minds of the populace, shaping their understanding of sin, of redemption, and the delicate relationship between humanity and the divine. The rote Danning, the influence of these historical precedents, continues to permeate modern cultural discourses, illustrating the enduring complexity of belief systems. The evolution of the concept of incestum reflects a profound shift in societal values and theological interpretations. Initially, it served as a marker of divine displeasure, a proposal, a notion firmly rooted in the early Roman understanding of piety. This perception anchored itself in the belief that certain transgressions could invoke the wrath of the gods, disrupting the sacred bond between humanity and the divine. Over the centuries, interpretations of incestum evolved, intertwining with emerging philosophical thoughts and socio-political changes. They began to encompass a broader spectrum of moral and ethical considerations, gradually shedding the rigid constraints of earlier definitions. As the Roman Empire expanded, cultural interactions introduced varying perspectives on personal conduct, prompting a re-evaluation of what constituted sacredness and sin. In the context of early Christianity, the notion of incestum took on new dimensions. The teachings of the Church highlighted individual morality and personal relationships with the divine, transforming the understanding of sin into a more personal affair. This shift did not eliminate the traditional concerns surrounding incestum. Rather, it expanded the scope to include a more introspective approach. Through the Renaissance and into the Enlightenment, the dialogue surrounding incestum continued to evolve, reflecting broader philosophical inquiries into human nature, ethics, and the role of the divine. This progression underscores the complexity of moral frameworks that govern societal behavior, illustrating a timeless struggle between human impulses and divine expectations. Incestum emerged as a significant concept, reflecting the shifting dynamics of family structures in ancient Rome. The traditional familial bonds, long revered, began to encounter challenges as societal norms evolved. This alteration was marked by the increasing acceptance of practices once deemed taboo, where the boundaries of kinship expanded and contracted in ways that defied earlier conventions. These changes sparked intense debates among scholars, politicians, and citizens alike, as the implications of altering familial definitions extended beyond personal relationships, affecting legal and religious frameworks. The sanctity of the family unit, historically viewed as a cornerstone of Roman society, faced scrutiny. Relationships that strayed into the realm of incestum were no longer met with unanimous condemnations. Some segments of society began to question the rigidity of established moral codes. As ancient texts reveal, the consequences of such transgressions became a focal point of discourse, illustrating the delicate balance between personal liberty and communal standards. The implications of incestum also reached into the realm of governance, impacting succession and alliances by challenging existing definitions of familial ties. These shifts hinted at a broader metamorphosis within the Roman psyche. The very essence of what constituted a family began to reflect the complexities of evolving social expectations, signifying a rupture not only in traditional values, but also in the collective understanding of societal order. The role of historians in documenting Incestum reveals the intricate layers of societal norms and expectations during this pivotal time. Through meticulous examination of ancient texts, they uncover the nuances of familial structures that once reinforced the Pax Deorum. These scholars navigate a landscape of shifting morals, highlighting how legal frameworks and religious doctrines intertwined with personal relationships. Inscriptions, decrees, and personal correspondences form a rich repository of evidence, showcasing the evolving definitions of kinship. This collection of artifacts serves as a testament to the complexities of interpersonal dynamics and the resulting implications on governance and stability. Each fragment provides context, illustrating how historical narratives were shaped by prevailing ideologies and cultural tensions. Historians often grapple with the interpretations of these relationships, recognizing that their own perspectives can influence the understanding of ancient practices. They seek to contextualize the ramifications of Incestum within broader socio-political frameworks, examining how these deviations from tradition eroded the fabric of societal cohesions. The documentation process involves critical analysis, drawing connections between historical incidents and their lasting impact on subsequent generations. By peeling back the layers of time, these scholars shed light on the precarious balance between personal desires and collective expectations. The influence of Roman law on contemporary understandings of incest manifests in various legal frameworks that govern personal relationships today. Roman statutes established clear boundaries regarding familial unions, reflecting societal concerns over lineage, inheritance, and moral integrity. These legal precedents laid the groundwork for modern legal systems, which address the complexities of familial relations and the implications of consanguinity. This region of legal thought emphasizes the importance of maintaining genetic diversity and social cohesion. Laws concerning incest are informed by historical contexts, evolving alongside societal norms and scientific understanding. The Roman approach exhibited a balance between familial loyalty and public welfare, illustrating the tension between individual desires and community expectations. Contemporary legislation often mirrors this historical framework, with regulations varying significantly across cultures. In some jurisdictions, the prohibition of incest is absolute, while others allow for nuances based on consent and age. The echoes of Roman legal principles persist, illustrating a continuum of thought that traverses millennia. Discussions surrounding incest often intersect with ethical considerations and psychological implications, further complicating how societies navigate these sensitive issues. The interplay between ancient tenets and modern interpretations reveals an enduring quest for equilibrium in human relationships, underscoring the complexities inherent in the fabric of societal norms. The legacy of the Pax Deorum in modern religious thought manifests prominently in various doctrinal interpretations and community practices, rooted in the ancient belief that maintaining a harmonious relationship with the divine ensures prosperity and stability. Contemporary spiritual movements often reflect this ethos. Rituals aimed at appeasing higher powers echo the reverence once afforded to the Roman pantheon, illustrating a continuous thread of devotion that transcends time. This connection is evident in the way many faiths emphasize reconciliation and the importance of communal harmony within these frameworks. Acts of penance and offerings serve as reminders of the ancient obligation to maintain balance with divine forces. The nuanced understanding of morality, often derived from ancient texts, shapes ethical discourse today. It prompts a re-evaluation of human actions and their implications, urging individuals to consider their responsibilities toward both the divine and their communities. The resonance of these ancient principles can also be seen in the emergence of interfaith dialogues. Such discussions strive to foster understanding and cooperation among diverse belief systems, mirroring the Roman approach to integrating various deities and practices. This collective yearning for peace and mutual respect illustrates how the ideals of the Pax Deorum continue to influence religious thought, bridging the ancient and the contemporary in the quest for spiritual and societal balance. The socio-political landscape shaped by the concept of Incestum serves as a profound commentary on contemporary governance and civic responsibility. This phenomenon, characterized by transgressions against religious norms, mirrors modern instances where moral and ethical lines blur within political frameworks. Erosion of mutual trust often stems from leaders prioritizing personal gain over communal well-being, echoing the discontent felt by ancient Romans during times of strife. These violations, which once invited divine retribution, reflect broader societal consequences. When public figures engage in deceit or violate ethical codes, the resulting distrust can destabilize entire communities. This region, once steeped in religious observance, illustrates how a decline in shared values precipitates a fracturing of societal cohesion. The remnants of ancient temples, now mere ruins, symbolize lost ideals and the profound impact of moral decay on a civilization's stability. The lessons derived from Incestum urge a reassessment of accountability within leadership. They highlight the necessity for transparency and integrity as foundational aspects of governance. The cyclical nature of history suggests that societies often repeat past mistakes when they neglect the warnings embedded in their own narratives. Thus, the examination of ancient Roman practices fosters an opportunity for reflection and growth, encouraging modern societies to cultivate a renewed commitment to ethical principles in the pursuit of harmony and progress. The societal perception of Incestum reveals complex gender dynamics that shaped Roman attitudes toward morality and sacredness. Within this context, women often faced stricter scrutiny, their bodies serving as vessels of family honor and societal reputation. Transgressions were viewed not merely as personal failures, but as reflections of familial and civic integrity. This emphasis on female virtue created an environment in which the actions of women were closely monitored, their choices bearing heavy consequences. Men, conversely, experienced a different set of expectations. Their roles often embodied a sense of agency, granting them the latitude to engage in behaviors that might be deemed inappropriate for women. This duality painted a picture of a society deeply entrenched in patriarchal values, where the concept of honor fluctuated based on gender, but the repercussions of Incestum for men typically centered around political ramifications, rather than personal disgrace. In this region, the consequences of such actions reverberated through the fabric of Roman life, influencing alliances, power dynamics, and social structures. The very notion of purity and its violation was instrumental in shaping religious practices and public rituals. These events served to reinforce societal norms, sculpting a rigid framework within which honor and morality were incessantly negotiated, often at the expense of individual agency and ethical considerations. Political maneuvering in ancient Rome often intertwined with the use of incest as a tactical instrument. It served not merely as a familial bond, but as a mechanism to consolidate power and propagate legitimacy. This tactic was particularly prevalent within the elite circles, where marriages between relatives were strategically orchestrated to maintain political alliances and ensure continuity of influence. Such unions resulted in a singular bloodline that was frequently touted as a divine mandate, reinforcing the perception of an unbroken connection to the gods. The propaganda surrounding these unions emphasized the purity of lineage and the supposed divine favor bestowed upon those who engaged in these practices. It presented a narrative that highlighted the necessity of preserving elite bloodlines through close kinship, which was often depicted as vital for the stability of the state. It painted a picture of an inseparable link between divine will and political authority. These carefully curated images of familial unity masked the underlying complexities and ethical dilemmas faced by individuals caught within these webs of power. The resulting offspring were often heralded as prodigies, embodying both the virtue of their progenitors and the weight of expectation. The consequences of such unions transcended personal lives, shaping public perception and influencing the political landscape of the Roman Republic and later the Empire. This intersection reveals how ancient Romans sought explanations for the intricate relationships between the divine and the mortal. Scholars and priests delved into the phenomena surrounding incestuous unions, attributing them to celestial alignments or divine displeasure. Observations of the heavens provided a framework through which these unions were interpreted. Astrology played a significant role, as celestial bodies were believed to influence human affairs, including familial bonds. In this context, the behavior of certain planets and stars became a focal point. For instance, the appearance of a comet or an unusual planetary alignment was often viewed as an omen, signaling a shift in societal norms or the favor of the gods. These celestial events were meticulously recorded, with priests interpreting their implications for both current and future generations. The Gism Trostel Great, the Itiprefer Desisinier for the scientific knowledge of the time, while rudimentary by modern standards, contributed to the understanding of genetic health and heredity. This led to concerns regarding the offspring of incestuous unions, as they were often seen as bearing the mark of divine disfavor. Such perceptions influenced social policies and religious rituals aimed at appeasing the gods, demonstrating the delicate balance between human actions and divine will. This complex interplay of faith and logic, the future of incest studies in historical research, hinges on interdisciplinary approaches that integrate anthropology, sociology, and legal studies. Scholars increasingly recognize the need to explore the cultural contexts surrounding these relationships, shifting focus from purely legalistic interpretations to a broader understanding of societal norms and values. This evolving perspective allows for a richer comprehension of how ancient societies navigated familial bonds and social structures. New methodologies utilizing advanced technologies, such as genetic analysis and digital humanities, have emerged. These techniques provide insights into lineage and heredity, offering a clearer picture of the dynamics at play in historical populations. They facilitate a re-examination of ancient texts and archaeological findings, potentially revealing instances of incest that previously went unnoticed. Discussions surrounding ethics in research continue to shape the field. Engaging with contemporary societal implications ensures that studies remain relevant, fostering a critical dialogue about the impact of such relationships across different cultures and epochs. This careful navigation of ethical considerations is vital, given the sensitive nature of the subject matter. The field anticipates a growing interest in diverse cultural practices regarding incest. Comparative studies may emerge, allowing researchers to analyze similarities and differences across civilizations, This exploration could deepen the understanding of human relationships and the societal frameworks that govern them, enriching the historical narrative surrounding incest. The cultural ramifications of incestum extend beyond the confines of ancient Rome, influencing legal, social, and religious structures throughout Western civilizations. Such practices and the attendant controversies surrounding them prompted philosophical discourse that questioned moral boundaries and societal norms. This scrutiny led to the establishment of more defined legal frameworks regarding marriage and familial relationships, shaping the evolution of personal rights and societal expectations. Traditions rooted in ancient practices continue to echo in contemporary discussions on ethics and legality. The stigmatization of incest reflects deeply ingrained cultural values, often rooted in the historical narratives of civilizations. Literary and artistic representations have perpetuated these themes, provoking ongoing dialogue about the complexities of human relationships. These historical precedents resonate in modern legal systems and social constructs, reinforcing the importance of consent and individual autonomy. The implications of incestum highlight the intricate interplay between governance, morality, and societal cohesion. As civilizations grapple with the legacies of their past, the examination of such phenomena encourages critical reflection on the evolution of societal mores. The reverberations of these ancient practices remind us of the fragile balance between tradition and progress, shaping the ongoing discourse surrounding human relationships and societal structures. The impact of incestum, therefore, transcends its historical context, remaining a significant touchstone in the exploration of human behavior and cultural evolution.